Hello everybody. Today we are going to have some glimpses over human resource management. India is the country. It has more number of population next to China. So the India and its population was often cited as a stumbling block for its development. But the existing population may be viewed as a human resources when the population has some characteristics like it has a skill or it has a caliber, then population may be considered as a human resources. So the human resource management is a very crucial one. It deals with the human resources or the workforces. Every organization or every country, it has some strategy to how to control its own resources, that is the workforce. So every organization as well as every country, right, they are going to have some kind of the strategies how to utilize the resources in a best way. So in the term human resource management, the human refers to the skilled workforce in the organization or in a country. Similarly, the resources, it indicates the limited availability or scarce one. Actually, the management, sometimes we can split the term into management tactically. How or what are the strategies we are going to be evolved to treat the existing human resources to utilize its best output. So as we said earlier, the organization as well as the country, they require a good workforce. So organization, it always has two kind of the resources. One is the physical resources as well as the human resources. On the part of the physical resources, it includes the materials, machine as well as the money, that is the finance. On the other hand, the human resources, it includes men and their knowledge, skills, training and the proficiency, that is the competency what they have. So always employers, they give during the previous industrial era, the employers, they give much importance to the physical resources. Later on, they switch over their views and they acknowledge the intellectual capital is very critical to the business success. The reasons may be the product innovation or the product modification as well as the evolving the marketing strategy is possible only by having a good and creative workforce. The human beings, according to the situation, according to the circumstance, they are going to be made some strategies how to make a product, how to make a innovation in the product as well as the production technology, because they have a creativity. So the existing creative workforce may be surpass the technical innovations. On the other hand, the challenges and opportunities and disputes are from people-centered problem. In an organization, sometimes there may be challenges, sometimes there may be opportunities, and disputes may be evolved. It may be regarding the people's problem alone, because the organization, right, it is going to be employ the workforce, though it is going to be have automation and everything, right? So the machines or the artificial intelligence, they may not have decision making capacities, or they may not have emotional problem. So the people who are all employed in the particular organization, or who are all employed in the profit organization or non-profit organization, they may not same in their mental psyche as well as the physical appearance. So they have a different mental psyche right? And their and socio cultural background and technical background are different. So naturally they may have they can create some kind of the problem in the organization or the country itself. Regarding the definition of the human resources, right, all the definition, it is going to be include the human resources as a psychological and sociological and ethical component. So according to the first definition given by Michael J. Joshis, human resources are a whole consisting of interrelated, interdependent and interacting physiological, psychological, sociological and ethical component. On the other hand, another definition, it says, from the national point of view, human resources are the knowledge, skills and attitude obtained in the population, while for individual enterprises they represent the total of abilities, knowledge and skills of its employees. So when we compare to the physical resources, human resources, they have a different dimensions like a physiological as well as the psychological, sociological and ethical component. So it is going to be play a very different as well as a crucial role when people come together, and if there is a congregation of the people in the profit organization and non-profit organization, their attitudes, the grouping and everything, it is going to be affect the productivity of the each individual. Then nature and scope of the human resources. So human resources is a very unique one because it is the only asset that appreciate over a period of time, not depreciate with years. So if you buy a car or if you buy any equipments over a period of time, the value of the car or the equipment may come down. But regarding the human resources, over a period of time, he is going to be accumulate some knowledges or experience and everything. So the age is synonymously taken as a experience as well as the knowledge. But on the other hand, the physical resources like any computer or any car or whatever it may be, any technology, it is going to be outdated over a period of time. Then human resources can produce an output larger than input. It is often be named as a synergy. So actually what we are giving as an input, it may be received as an output. In case of the human resources, it has a great efficacy, right? Not the efficient, it is a efficacy. What we say, if there is a proper situation or if there is any demand or if there is any circumstance arises, right, then human resources can produce more than the input. That's what we say, it is a synergy. Then HR human resources operate all physical resources. Of course we can have a automation and everything, it is going to be replace the human being, but the human resources, they are going to be operate all the physical resources, right? One people may be expert, that is adapt in a particular field. So one may be in the computer technology, he may be a very expert, or how to operate a big equipments like boilers, or they can tailor-made some production technologies or design and everything. So whatever the automation, whatever the artificial intelligence we have, right, behind it the human brain is there. On the other hand, the flexibility of the organization, it depends on more on the people rather than the technical factors. So even we know very well during the lockdown period, right, all the organization, though they are the technical giants, right, they depend on their human resources, then ask their people to work from the home, right? So the organization, they are going to be have a strategies, right, how to utilize the workforces. So in the pandemic situation, they depend on the human resources, not the machine, and they ask the people to work from the home, right? The organization now it become a virtual organization and it has a flexi timing. So operational flexibility is the base for the product innovation and modification. If we give a sufficient space as well as a room to the people, then only they are going to be think innovatively, and they are going to be make some modification in the existing product. That is a product modification or differentiation is possible only because of the people, not by the technology. Of course, technology is going to be floated, but the technology is going to be handled by the human being. Then effective utilization of the human resources is a complex task, right? As we said earlier, the human beings, they have a different backgrounds, their physiological background, their psychological and sociological, and they are different in the ethical common also. So it need a great vision as well as the strategy how we are going to be treat the employee. That's why we have even in the motivation we have a theory X, theory Y, and even the theory Z also have. So theory X, right, it sees its employee in the pessimistic way. On the other hand, theory Y, it sees the employees or the management, it enable the management to see the its workforce in a very optimistic way. On the other hand, the participative management is insisted by the theory Z. Then, in common parlance, the human resources indicates the people or the workforce which is very heterogeneous in nature. So heterogeneous in the sense their background, not only the social and psychological background, right? Their attitude, their thinking process, everything change. Even the identical twins, they may not have the same kind of the behavior. But in the large number of the workforce in a particular profit organization and a non-profit organization and other stakeholders who associated with the organization, right, they are going to be have a different background. Definitely it is going to be affect the organizational productivity, not only organizational productivity, the individual productivity. So HR is, when we compare to the human, when we compare to the physical resources, the human resources is very live, animate as well as active. They can able to feel, think and conceive as well as the grow. But in case of the physical resources, these factor like live animation, live as well as the animate and actives are absent. So the robots and robots and other machines, they may not feel or think or conceive. Conceive in the sense they are not going to be think in such a way how to utilize the existing circumstance or how to take the decision according to the situation. Similarly, the employees or the employees or the workforce alone, they can show their satisfaction and dissatisfaction for all type of managerial action. Then, as we said, the human resources, it is very more complex. It is very intricate one how to deal the people. Similarly, we can't predict how they are going to be behave at present as well as in future. So the human resources are unpredictable. The human mind is unpredictable in nature. So as we said, each individual has its own distinct background. All the emotional problems are emanate from the human factor only in the organization. Then in the human resource management, right, the Hawthorne studies or Hawthorne experiment is a great milestone. So far before the Hawthorne studies, right, the management, they have their own whims and fancy to treat the employees and workforce. But after the Hawthorne studies alone, right, the human resources school emerged. So the Hawthorne study was conducted by Elton Mayo and his associate Harvard University professors. Western Electric Hawthorne Works in Chicago, they conducted some kind of the experiment. So in the experiment, it has a different phase which has a four experiments, right? Namely illumination experiment giving the lighting effect on the workforce, relay assembly test room experiment, massive interview program, and bank wiring observation room experiments. So the finding of the study, it give a great significance to the human resources. So far the scientific management or other management principles, right, they simply sideline the human resources and they give a much importance to the physical resources. So after the Hawthorne experiment alone, Hawthorne studies alone, there was a lightings was given on the human resources. So the study found that the presence of informal groups influence the behavior and productivity of the employees of the organization. So in the organization, the people may come together based upon their whims and fancy, based upon their frequencies. They are going to be get along with one another, and these informal groups, they are going to be influence the on the job as well as the of the job behavior of the employee and the productivity of the employees of the organization. So the productivity, if we say, the individual can do whatever, that is the ability of the individual to produce, that is what we consider it is a productivity. So in a particular maneuver, that is 8 hours or 10 hours, right, actually 8 hours we are going to be say 8 hour maneuvers, how much you can produce or how much you are capable to produce, that's what we say it is a productivity. So in the experiment, it shows that the external environment nothing to do with the productivity of the employee. If you give a good aeration or if you give a good lighting and respirator or whatever it may be, right, it is not going to be do anything with the productivity of the employee. Then it gives some important messages to the world, right? So the factory, it is not only the techno-economic unit, right, but also a social unit. Men are considered as a social being, not the economic being. We are not going to be have a mere head counting. So the people are the social being. They have their attitude as well as their thinking. So the social characteristic at work plays an important role in motivating the people. Then so the group influence, the workers have a common psychological bond and it unite the people. So they, in the form of the informal organization, right, they exert certain pressure over the group members. So the management demands frequently has the strongest influence on how productive workers would be. Then group behavior, management must understand that a typical group behavior can dominate the motivation. Human and social motivation play a great role than the monetary incentives. So money alone not it is going to be influence the people. Money alone not the that is a motivational factor for all the employee. It may be for the some people, but monetary incentives alone may not motivate the people, that is a employee. Then the style of the supervision affects workers' attitude to work and his productivity. As we said, theory X and theory Y, it comes into the picture. Then working condition, productivity increases as a result of improved working condition in the organization, right? Not only the physical the ambience of the particular organization, but the working relations between the people, it also affect the productivity of the employee in the particular profit or non-profit organization. So the employee morale, the Mayo pointed out that workers were not simply cogs in the machinery. Instead the employee morale, both individual and in groups, can have profound effect effects on the productivity. So they are not the simply treated as a machines. They have a inner thoughts, inner feelings, inner attitudes. So it may be taped in such a way to utilize for the benefit of the organization. Then communication experiments have shown that the output increases when workers are explained the logic behind the various decisions of the employer. So once you take the decision and you have to communicate, otherwise you can invite the representative of the workers in the decision making process. Then there should be a balanced approach regarding the human resources, right? We may not have a single strategies to utilize the energy of the people, not energy of the people for the organizational benefit. So over a period of time we have to make a different strategy how best we can utilize the human resources, because the circumstances are going to be changed, the demands of the employees are going to be changed, demands of the market it is going to be changed. Based on that we have to adapt a tailor-made, a balanced approach, right, which suit to the situation. Thank you. I think from this you can understand what are the significance attached to the human resources. So we can have a overview over it. So the organization have a physical resources as well as the human resources. Physical resources, it indicates the machinery as well as the finance part. Human resources, it includes the human resources or the employee. So the physical resources, right, it may not have a thinking capacity, or it may not have any attitude or anything, but on the other hand the physical resources like human beings, they have a great emotional feeling, they can think over it and they can achieve according to their will, right? So if we utilize the human resources in such a way, definitely we can achieve the great heights in the organization, both profit as well as the non-profit organization. Thank you.